Yeah, oh yeah.
Hey, Paul.
Get out tonight.
Pleasure to meet you.
How you feeling? Oh, this is this automatically goes to Google News. I programmed myself. It took me a year to get the coding down, and it works. It goes, yeah. Hey, it's Google, man, and they let me do it. So they like the coding.
Okay. All right.
Jon, there are 6 first-year head coaches this year. What do you know now that you wish you would know your first year as a coach?
I don't know. That's a good question. I just feel like a first-year head coach every year I come to something really honestly, because your team is always different. Your staff is never the same. You always have to adapt. And I'm sure these guys are going through a lot emotionally right now, but I can't pinpoint anything.
Is there any advice you would give to a guy?
Just be yourself. Be yourself. Don't get too far away from that. Some guys don't get too far away from the things that got you there.
Hey, Coach, how would you assess your first year?
4-12. Not gonna say anything else. It wasn't very good. It was a necessary year. We had to make some tough decisions. And I do like the work ethic that we have in place. I'm excited about some of the moves that we have made and the direction of this franchise. I'm not happy with being 4-12. I'm very, very proud of where we're going.
I've talked to 6 of you guys, son, Montez, Mike was saying the ball was banging the table pretty hard. Mike pushed back. What was that discourse?
I was on the table with them. We were banging it together. Perfect has something to prove. He didn't play his best football last year. Perfect has been fine. Perfect has had issues. And that's what people talk about when they talk about Perfect. What you got to remember is when he's right, he is a great player. And he has proven he can make plays with Paul Gunther. So if that combination can reunite, that solves a problem that the Raiders have had for a long time.
Something that's proven, that's a common thread for the guys that you guys brought in to keep it here. Is that quality that you really look for in a guy who say, I believe in you, that's the best that it is?
I think that's the case for every guy. You got to prove it every year. This is what have you done lately, business, and I think Antonio Brown is going to bring us energy and charisma and all kind of juice to not only the meeting rooms, practice fields, but to the field on game day. Something we desperately need. Trent Brown is going to bring us credibility in a position that we need to be credible at. He can play right tackle, left tackle, and I think Marcus Joyner is everything that we're looking for. So we got to continue to add the pieces, but a lot of our guys have a lot to come, so do I.
You anticipate moving Dave Jackson to the left?
I think we're going to have to wait just a little bit and see how it goes in the draft. Do we have one more piece or not? Jackson can play either position, right or left guard. Trent can play right tackle, high level, he's proven that. He can play left tackle, he's proven that as well. So I'm going to solve all that here in the next couple of weeks.
No decision yet as to where Trent will
Now, we're not going to make any final decisions here today.
Hey, Jon, beyond what Antonio Brown brings to the football field, what does it mean to have a, quote, star like that organizationally to bring him to your team?
It means a lot. This guy's caught 100 passes or more, I think, 6 years in a row. He plays his best football in big games. Last time I was in Oakland, we had Jerry Rice and Tim Brown on the same team. It was a lot of fun. And I'm really excited personally to have an opportunity to join forces and coach Antonio Brown. It's a great responsibility, one that I don't take lightly.
Hey, speaking of which, what do you think about returning to the Coliseum?
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. To me, I don't know what was so hard about that. Everybody Oakland Raiders.
Aside from his talent, when you guys had talks about his time in Pittsburgh in Week 17, what was it that made you feel comfortable bringing him in there and not worry about him?
I have no problem with that. You got to be kidding me. You get Antonio Brown, I'll walk to Pittsburgh to get him. I mean, I don't have any problem with one aspect of Antonio Brown. I don't know who does or why they would. Oh, that was our plan, honestly. I mean, we lost a couple good players, really good players last year, and we acquired some back. And we also acquired a lot of space beside Antonio Brown, Marcus Joyner. We don't sign any of these players if we don't have the cap space to get them. So it's a double-edged sword for us. We needed the draft capital to get young.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Emerging players. Right. And we needed to cap space to add to Brown, Antonio Brown, Burford, and then we did because we felt we had a lot of needs and we're doing the best we can to get as many as possible.
You guys have spent some money, a lot of guaranteed money, but there is still cap flexibility down the road. How important was that for signing free agents that you're not handcuffed long term by not the
It's not as big. I said it, like Mayock, obviously a lot. Tom Delaney, we did the contracts, a lot of the work on the contracts. He's the unsung hero of free agency. Nobody really does it better.
So the two quarterbacks that Andrew Jones also playing. What are your thoughts on those two guys?
I always liked Leonard. And having lived in Tampa, studied him and seen him play live several times, here's a guy who got a big deal to go play for the Bears. And just a couple months later, they draft Trubisky. Then he goes to Arizona to compete with Sam Bradford, and a couple months later, they trade up for Rosen. So he's had some bad luck. But I do like this guy because he's got arm talent, he's got some experience as a starter, and he's really smart. Landry Jones is a guy that started and won games in the league. He can help us with Antonio's transition as well. What they call this at Pittsburgh. Why did he convert his route to do that?
Right.
So there's some really interesting side things that Landry can bring to the table also. And I don't want to forget Nate Peterman. He was the opening day starter at Buffalo. A lot of people have forgotten him, but it's great to start the offseason program April 15th with 4 quarterbacks that all learn together.
Hey, on the matter of Antonio Brown, does he bring with him concepts from Pittsburgh that maybe you thought, hey, how does that work? And now you can ask someone who's an expert at it?
Yeah, no doubt. We went through all his catches and all his routes. Hey, something's working in Pittsburgh. We'll put it in for him. We're not too proud to steal some good ideas.
Yesterday, John, Mike said that he hadn't talked to Marshawn, but you had been keeping up that conversation with him about whether he was going to come back or not. How have those conversations gone so far?
I'm not going to get into the conversations that we've had. I talked to Doug Hendrickson, his agent as well, and obviously we have a need at halfback, feature back. So I want to keep the door open, certainly. Keep researching his situation, and we'll see what happens. We'll update you when we know something. What's that? The door's always open for Lynch. The door always going to be open. Trust me. All the doors are always going to be open for Marshawn Lynch.
What's it been like working with Antonio?
Yeah, Mike and I, we go back 20 years, 25 years ago when I was offensive coordinator of the Eagles. And you like to be around people that have similar interests. And unfortunately, I don't have any other interests in football. So we have a lot of fun talking about just every aspect of football. And his relentless effort, his enthusiasm has energized the building. It's just a blast.
Much is it a collaborative effort? How much of it is like I do this or do that with me to keep it?
It's collaborative. It really is. I don't think either one of us has an ego. Who cares who gets the credit? Who cares who makes the decision? Let's just make the best decision possible, and let's try to be right. Let's not be afraid to argue once in a while. But he's a great friend, and he's a great teammate, and he's really good at what he does.
Is he a Leo too?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, check that out.
He says he's mentally exhausted at the end of the day talking to you.
Yeah, going to play this. That's got to do that. Yeah. So it's great. That's why we're getting out of here today. We got to get back to our wheelhouse. We don't belong here.
What did you learn about him in like a high pressure environment where you're trading for Antonio, competition for it, yet he's still disciplined? Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's a people business, you know. I think, when the trade was happening with the Steelers, I know Omar Khan. He knows Kevin Colby. Everybody's got cell phones today. You're communicating, but he's such a great communicator, and he has so many connections in the league. To get deals. And he's not afraid. He's got the guts, and he's got the knowledge to pull the trigger, and that's what I really like.
John, what do you like about Trent Brown? What made you guys want to go out? Yeah.
I love Trent Brown when he was a 49er personally. I did not know he was on the trade market. Trent didn't even know he was on the trade market. And I think he went to New England basically for a 4th-round pick. The equivalent of a 4th-round pick. No one knew he was on the market except the Patriots and Shanahan, probably. I liked him as a right tackle.
Yeah.
I loved him as an offensive lineman. Obviously in New England, playing left tackle. What a job he did. But there's not many 26-year-old guys that have proven they can play right tackle and left tackle in this league. So it's great to have him.
So do you envision him as left, or how do you see that fitting in?
Like I said, a lot of teams flip their tackles. We might just have them break the huddle and look for Von Miller and go. Could be done.
Sorry, also, I'm from Boston. I want to ask you about Rob Gronkowski retiring. Just what are your thoughts on him as a player, and are you glad you don't have to face him anymore? You know.
I hope he comes back and plays. Obviously, I hope he revisits it and comes back. You know, I said yesterday he's the most complete tight end that I've ever seen.
Really?
You know, he can play as a wide receiver. He can play in the slot.
Yeah.
He can play in line. He can do anything.
Wow.
And wish him the best.
Yeah.
It's great for him if he does go out on top.
Hey, Coach, I'm curious about quarterbacks. Last year, it looked like you were looking for somebody that was mobile. You talked about having the quarterback run, but now it seems more the emphasis is on a passing quarterback and blocking as opposed to just looking at the personnel selections. Is that the case, or am I reading too much into it?
I don't know. I maybe reading too much into it.
I'm good at that, though. I just have to ask.
What are the discussions been like with the expansion of the debate about expanding replay, and what do you think of that?
You know, it's tough. Do you want to make every play challengeable? Do you really want to do that? Do we want to add an 8th official? Do we want to expand the role of the replay official? A lot that has been discussed, and I think a lot of it got tainted, unfortunately. It's a very sensitive topic, but you hate to see a game decided by a missed call. But football is going to be played, and it's going to be officiated by the guys that are there. Now we got guys officiating the game in New York.
Yeah.
How much do you want to expand their role? So it's a very sensitive topic. I'm just glad I'm leaving today.
Have you embraced analytics?
I love analytics. You people act like I don't like analytics.
No.
I just want an analytical award. They gave us the analytical award of the year. Why don't you put that in your award? Of course I embrace it.
Coach, along those lines, though, when you were in the booth, probably not a lot of Cleveland Browns games in prime time. This year, I think they'll be on quite a bit. And they've obviously had sort of two regimes that have gone into that rebuild. But as an organization that is pointed toward the future by years, are there some lessons to be learned? Are there things you study along those lines? It took them a long time, but that's a team that looks like now.
Obviously, you got to get the quarterback playing at a blue level. If you get a blue chip quarterback, you got a chance to win every game. Forget about winning a couple games. You get a chance to win every night. And Mayfield has solved a lot of their problems. All you got to do is turn the film on. That guy's spectacular. What he did as a rookie is it's incredible. I don't think people really know how well he played. And they've gone through quarterbacks like they've come through, I don't know what. But when you solve that position, you got a real chance. And when you get that guy playing at a blue chip level, it certainly helps you. And that's what we're going to try to do with Derek. You know, getting Antonio, Tyrell Williams, Trent Brown. Hopefully that can help Derek return to blue chip status. And if that does happen, we'll be on our way.
Mike mentioned yesterday that we often say that direction he doesn't turn as hard as now we're getting closer to the draft. Bodies are essential. When you look at that class, you see good depth there, you're going to be able to address what seems to be a pretty
It's a very astute guy. It really is. You know, obviously, Bosa's a great player. He's an underclassman that didn't even play much. You know, a lot of these guys play time. It's not what you want it to be. They don't play a lot of series. They're underclassmen also. And a lot of these guys haven't even done an individual workout. They haven't even run yet. So there's a lot of mystery and intrigue. For sure. But when we went into free agency, obviously, the names that were potentially going to be there were franchised, were traded, and we are going to look hard at that position.
Like you said, when you were saying, how do you feel me as far as defensive end? What do you stand on? Word or you feel so confident?
I said, I want to see our Keith play better. I want to see our second-year players play better. They got to play a lot last year. Big deal. I want to see them play great this year. I'll start the conversation right there. Harden's got to play better. He's got to get stronger. He's got to play better. And they don't grow on trees. These defensive ends, they don't grow on trees. I know I've been criticized for trading one of the best. We're going to look hard to replenish and add players at that position. That's for sure.
Offensively, what would you?
I
think, you know, on paper it looks great. You know, when you start studying the tape, you have to decide for yourself. You know, some of these guys, like I just said, are a bit mysterious because they're young, they're underclassmen. They didn't play a high percentage of snaps. And a lot of them haven't even completed their pro workout day. They weren't in college all-star games, so that's why I'm getting out of here today. I gotta go do some more work.
Hired these guys who are anticipated to go high. Are you the type like you need to like look them in the eye and you need them
Fortunately for us, the coach is senior role. I got to meet Ferguson, I got to meet Sweat, got to meet a few of the guys at the combine, and we're going to get on the airplane and go meet Sweat.
Hey, Coach, at the Senior Bowl, you had the helmet sticker project, as I call it, which I thought was really great. Are you going to bring that to training camp?
We just have fun. We try to have fun.
That was a lot of cool to watch.
What I'm going to try to do and try to keep emphasizing in my own mind is I'm going to have fun. No matter how miserable you guys make it. No matter how mean you guys can be. I'm going to be I'm just so excited to be coaching again.
Hey, John, so speaking of that, the intangible, when you meet these guys, what's the newest factor that you know they love it, they know that you love it?
That's a great question. You know, and I try to find out what's in their wallet, you know, and that commercial, I like that commercial. What's in your, what makes you tick? What is it you love? Off the field, on the field, what do you love about football? What do you love about life? Do you have any passion in your body at all? Where is it? What's the meter set towards football? And you got to study that. You got to find out.
But what's the key? You know, it's easy to say.
I like to ask their teammates, their coaches, the trainer, the strength coach, their professors. You know, how much does this guy really do?
Yeah.
And really, what I like to do, Susie, is I like to look at that team play when they're behind. Like I love watching Rashawn Gary against Ohio State in the second half when they're way behind. That's when you can find out how much you love them. And I like to see him play against the toughest opponents. You know, see if it brings out the best in them.
What are your thoughts about Drew Lock?
I like Drew Lock. I like him a lot, actually. And coached him in the Senior Bowl. Very productive. Played in different offenses at Mizzou. I like him because he finished the job.
Canada.
What?
Preseason.
Okay. Hey, it's a little different. I had a talk with Coach Belichick last night about the old Cowboy flex defense. I'm going to foreshorten this. Do you think it's possible to run the flex today?
I don't know. You gotta ask Belichick. He would know.
We were to finish the conversation. That's why I asked. So, yeah.
I think he could line up. You have the good players. You can probably play any defense you want. Obviously, being calm and healthy and playing to his potential. We got to see it 16 weeks now from Gary on. He flickered in some really good things last year. He finished healthy, which is a concern. Worley started really good, got hurt. We need 16 bodies from him. Lawson could play nickel, he could play outside. He's been healthy. That's what I love about Lawson. He doesn't miss any action. And I think you need 5 pounders. I think you got to have 5. Because they do get banged up. It's a very difficult position to play. Sometimes you want to play 3 or 4 type of play. You know, when I was in Tampa, I coached a guy named Ronde Burke. And he might have been perhaps my favorite player I ever played. He wasn't the biggest guy, wasn't the fastest guy. But when he put the helmet on, something happened. And Joyner, for me, is the closest thing I've ever seen to him. As a slot corner, I think he's the best. I think he's got a chance to really be dynamic. His leadership, when you meet Lamarcus Joyner, trust me, he'll be the favorite guy. There's something about this guy that's special. And Luka Rams will tell you that. That's why he was a franchise player. But his ability in the slot is rare. That's a guy that comes in and replaces a linebacker. So you take linebacker out and bring in this nickel corner, he will hit you like a linebacker. I have so much respect for him. I'm so excited to coach him. I can't tell you.
When the defense is getting younger, how important is it to have a guy to have some better leadership? A guy like that, maybe a guy in your back up or right hand, to be able to anchor these guys and help them through the stage.
It's big. Remember when I got here, we lost T.J. Carey in free agency, and that was a void for us. And it's a hard position to play. I really think it's as hard a position to play as there is on football. The nickel corner. All we ask that guy to do. His leadership, his communication, his swagger. A little bit like Antonio Brown, he's going to bring for the offense. Yeah, all indications are he's working out good, and he's going to be full throttle.
Did you call tight end in need, or the 4 guys you have? Did you work those 4 guys and you have?
Well, we lost a really good player. That was a good player, man. It's sickening to think that we lost him. It's one of the things I don't like about free agency. You can't see all the guys are wrong. It's a lot of production to replace. Darren Waller is very interesting. We're going to give him a chance of a lifetime. So if you're listening out there, Darren, let's go, brother. I really think he's intriguing. It's really interesting training camp for him. We're looking. We'll keep looking. Those are some big shoes to fill.
Does the loss of Lee change your draft strategy at all?
We're going to see if we can address the tight end, certainly. Running back, left guard, linebacker. Looking for another corner, 3 defensive ends, and
You didn't say quarterback.
John, how are you?
Good. How you doing? If I had an open-ended question for you, what do you think you learned most last year in your return to coaching that might have been a little bit different than your first time around? Were there a lot of different things, or did you find it was basically the same game, same everything? What was different for you?
Al Davis wasn't there to help me. We were 4-12 when I got here the first time. We were 6-10 when I got here the second time. The emphasis both times was building the team, getting the roster where we want it. And painful times last year, but necessary times. And that's very similar, really, to the last time. Hiring the staff was vital, critical, and settling the roster. And getting to know your quarterback. Not really a lot has changed other than the amount of time that I can spend with the players.
That has to have been a big adjustment, because when I saw you in training camp, you were not pleased that you missed a couple of months with your quarterback and with your I guess with your whole team.
I think every coach would say that.
Yeah.
Every coach would say that, especially the coaches that have been a part of the old way of spending time with the quarterback. And I think there's, in the next CBA, perhaps they'll make some amendments to allow the coach to spend a little time with his quarterbacks. Makes sense to me. I don't know about you and everybody else.
Sometimes you've referenced the experience factor that this draft class guys haven't played, Drew has. How, when you look at specifically the quarterback position, how much does that affect the way you evaluate these guys, figuring out how much they play?
It's a big deal. Bill Parcells, I used to listen to him. He wanted guys that were 3-year starters, guys that won 23 or 24 games or older. You'd like to see complete body of work. Those days are over now.
Right, that's the problem. Right?
Those days are over. I mean, Haskins is incredible production. 50 touchdown passes at Ohio State. Yeah, think about that. I'm from Ohio. Ohio State didn't throw 50 touchdowns in 20 years. What Haskins did is impressive. And you wish he would play another season. But he's coming out. Murray, what he did is astonishing. He took over for a Heisman Trophy winner and won the Heisman himself. He got more done on the statistic.
Yeah.
Phenomenal performance. Wish he played 2 more years there. Certainly. But those days are over.
Hey.
So anyway, we deal with who's coming out. And you got to do your research, and you got to have a vision of what you think these men can be. Maybe not the first year, but a year or 2 down the road.
What are your thoughts about Tyree Jackson, who you coached against at the Senior Bowl? He racked up 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, he came in and really was a late add to the roster.
Yeah.
And when he came off the bench in the 4th quarter, he almost won the game.
Yeah.
He was
John, do you look at the quarterback position any differently than you did 15, 20 years ago? Kyler Murray, 5'9", whatever he is, does it matter to you?
He's a little over 5'10".
Yeah, 5'10" and an eighth. Okay.
He's 5'10" and an eighth. But I think somebody asked me that at the Senior Bowl. I don't put a prototype on him anymore. When I went to Tampa Bay, and when Drew Brees showed up in Tampa Bay and ran me out of the NFC South, a 6-foot quarterback, he'd have a bad shoulder. The guy can play, he can play. And then I met Russell Wilson when I did him on my little show we had at ESPN a few years ago. I was blown away with this guy. What he did at NC State, how he shows up at Wisconsin and becomes a team captain and takes them to the Rose Bowl. I wanted Wilson, Klaus coach. And I guess you're 6'6" or 5'6", if you can play, you can play. And I think these guys have proven that. Mayfield's another guy. What he did for the Cleveland Browns is remarkable. And he's not the biggest guy either.
Yeah.
Oh, got it? Sorry. No problem. Yeah, cool. No problem.
Really growth, kind of just having that continuity that's been so very familiar. You see that in last year again.
I do anticipate not only the system being easier for him, and certainly we'll be able to rely on him within the system more because of his experience, but the team is going to be better. There were games this year where we had 3 possessions in the second half. He doesn't get an opportunity. Defense, get some turnovers, get him the ball in the world, and then Antonio Brown and Tyrell Williams and Trent Brown and some of the additions, hopefully that we can continue this performance or more. That's the thing.
When you look at film of it and how what happened, you listen to the shotgun. It all, some of it, obviously some of this protection, this guy's not getting open. Is there anything that they're going to do from micro movement standpoint and pocket to better protection?
Yeah, I think he would be critical of himself. We have to look at that sack total, and we all have to put our hands in and eliminate sacks. Quarterback, play caller, left tackle, right tackle, receivers, everybody. The running backs, the tight ends. We all got to put our hand in and eliminate the sacks. We got to eliminate negative plays. That's the philosophy of our offense. And I will say we started 2 rookie tackles. I don't think anybody in the NFL can say that. I don't think anybody can say that for a long time. We had a new left guard, we had a new right guard, we had a lot of moving parts. And it's an area we all got to do better.
John, I know you've probably been asked this 100 times, but when you met with Antonio Brown and finally sat down with him, what was it like between you guys, and what did you see in him and sort of his desire to be good again?
When I got permission to talk to Antonio from the Steelers, I was in the back seat of the car, my wife was driving, and the guy's enthusiasm to play is unlike most guys I've ever met. So when I sat down with him, I didn't want him to leave. I like Mike Mayock. I like being around guys like Antonio Brown. I like guys like that. I like guys who would play a doubleheader. You know, Brown would like 2 days the way they used to be.
Yeah.
You know, he would like to run on that hill with Jerry Rice, I promise you.
Yeah.
And he'd finish that hill with him, might beat him up the hill. That's what I'm going to try to get done. I'm going to try to get Rice and Antonio Brown to run that hill.
Maybe you build a hill in Napa.
Yeah, I just love the guys that bring it every day. Not only on game day, but on Wednesdays and in the meeting rooms. He's going to challenge everybody, me included.
Hey, John, are you having fun? Are you having fun?
I don't really do well at the owners' meetings. I'm anxious to go home.
I mean, in general. I mean, like the job and, you know.
I am. I love football, and I know it's not a good season. I'm excited about the Raiders.
Yeah.
I came back, and really excited about some of the moves that we have made. I'm really excited about the draft potential that we have, and I just love life, man. Love silver and black.
Yeah, got your skull down. Yeah.
Yeah. Can't wait to get on my flight. We'll all get there.
Are you satisfied with how the team is progressing in terms of personnel assembly? Are you there yet? You know?
No, we're not there yet. We're pretty well documented. We have a lot of needs, and we're doing all we can to address them all.
John, I talked to the Nobel Prize winner for economics in 2017 the other day, because he's the guy who said that your trade for Khalil Mack was the trade of the year. Okay, after all the geniuses like me said it was an idiotic trade. Okay, but so this guy made the point that draft choices and churning the roster in the NFL and keeping your roster young and rookie contracts being advantageous were all a part of his decision. A, did you see that your trade was named the best trade in 2018? And B, have you paid any attention to their reasoning for that, and what do you think of it?
I do know that we got an award. I think it was the only award we got last year. Forget about all of that. You know, I don't really have time to worry about who thinks it's right or wrong. We didn't really have much of a choice. If we did come up with the money to make the contract happen last year, we wouldn't have any of these men we're talking about now. We would not have Trent Brown. We would not have Antonio Brown. We wouldn't have Marcus Joyner. We wouldn't have Montez Burfict. We wouldn't have Tyrell Williams. We would not have any of them. And we wouldn't have the 3 first-rounders that we're talking about. So you have to consider all of it, like the Nobel Prize winner did, and digest it for yourself. But we were able to add a lot of pieces. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't cry for 3 days. I wanted to coach Mac, and Mac knows it, and wish him the best. We have a lot of work to do with this football team, and that trade allowed these acquisitions that we're talking about today to even happen.
Hey, John, why did you trade Austin Ellie?
A lot of it has to do with the salary cap. And I'm not going to get any further into it. We're going to miss it. That leaves a big void for us at left guard. But a lot of it had to do with salary cap and making other acquisitions.
What do you think of how he played last year?
He was hurt. He missed a lot of time. I don't know that he was healthy the whole season. Hopefully he has a great offseason, gets in great shape, and delivers for the Jets. Because if he does, he's a formidable beast.
The coach, does the amount of your draft capital make you more likely to try to turn it into more and move?
I don't know. I make all these statements. It depends on when you're on the clock. When you're sitting there at number 4 and someone offers you to move back to whatever. What are they giving you? We're wide open to moving up. We are wide open to moving back. We're wide open to just sitting there and taking it down false place.
It's like a kid in the candy store.
Good to meet you. Curious your thoughts about the best way a relationship can work between a coach, a general manager, and an owner.
Curious about what?
The way the relationship works best between coach, general manager, and owner.
I don't know. I think it all starts with the owner.
Yeah.
These guys got a tough job. They're managing billion-dollar teams. Some of these things are more expensive than that. It's hard to imagine being an owner and turning over that investment to a coach and a general manager. It'd be hard for me if I was an owner.
Right.
I would have very high expectations and big demands. And I think it's got to be a collaboration of men working together. Communication's got to be great. Trust, loyalty. I think some of those words are vital and the ones that really work.
What's your communication style?
Well, I'm honest. I'm loyal. I'm going to work hard. That's all I can offer. And I'm passionate about helping the Raiders win. I'm going to do the best I can all the time. So that's what I have to offer, and I think that's what Mayock has to offer, and Mark Davis will decide if we're good enough.
John, you want to see more replay? Or where do you stand on that?
Yeah, I'm confused, by what we want to do with the replay. We want to expand the official in the booth, his role. We want to expand Al Riveron's role in New York City, his role. Yeah. We want to make every play challengeable, really? Is that what we want to do? That's why I'm leaving today, honestly.
Not going to be in it.
I just don't have time to waste talking about it. Let me just go back and worry about the things I can control. You're never going to satisfy everybody. And to think that the two of us could ever agree on is it or isn't it pass interference, that'll never happen. I do know this. For us to think we can look at a replay at super slow-mo pass interference and determine whether it is or isn't, I think is unrealistic. I tried to do it in a booth for 9 years. Me and Jerry Austin wore the white hat in 3 Super Bowls, and we couldn't tell if it was or wasn't. We disagreed, and I just think it's very difficult for any of us to see if it's pass interference at that speed.
In other words, you basically believe that human error just has to be a part of it. It's just the way life is.
Human error, or you know what? It's just a call that you have to determine. It's error.
Right.
Certain guys look at things differently. We're not going to look at this cup of coffee the same way. It's too hot. It's too cold. We're still going to drink it. We're still going to move on to the next play. I think the leadership in place is outstanding. We're trying so hard to get every call right. But I think the harder we try, the more we might make this very difficult.
So in the bigger picture, do you think anything needs to be addressed?
Sorry.
I just personally, I believe that the coaches, we were on the right track yesterday.
Okay.
I think that the man up that has the replay official, I think his role could expand.
Okay.
I think he could be able personally to beat down to the white hat on the field when there's an obvious, indisputable error.
Yeah.
Maybe there were 13 guys on the field. You can't give them a 5th down. Perhaps even the play that cost the Saints in the playoff game. You missed the call. You want to look at this again.
Yeah.
Or player safety matter. You missed the guy that clearly went in there with a malicious intent. Eject the player. I do think that guy up there, without interrupting the game, can right indisputable wrong. I believe that should happen. But,
So the guy who's already up there, the replay.
yeah, I don't think you need to add any other. I think his role, he's got replay accessibility up there. If he sees anything that is dramatic, I'm not talking about an interference call, unless it's a blatant missed call.
Yeah,
right. Blatant. It's got to be indisputable. And that's what I'd like to see happen. But
Does the Saints call fall under that?
I think it does. Yeah, I think it does.
So you can at least put yourself in the pages and say we got to have the egregious error fixed.
Yeah, that word came up a lot yesterday. Egregious. that was
The word of the day?
That was the benefit being here for the owners' meetings. I learned egregious.
It's a good one.
I lost a game on the tuck rule on this.
Jeez.
I had a call reversed on me. I remember when Saragusa planted Rich Gannon. There was no 15-yard penalty.
No.
There was no penalty, and the guy got fined $25,000 the next day. But I'm not going to sit here and this is football. This is football. I can't remember calling a perfect game. I can't remember an official. Maybe they missed the call. It's a hard business. It's hard to do things live. I'm sure umpires have missed balls and strikes, right? I'm sure guys in the NBA have missed charge calls. They probably aren't 100% either, but I give them credit for trying.
What's it like to coach against Larry Fitzgerald?
It's a difficult job. He's what I love about Fitz is he's transformed himself. He's reinvented himself. He's able to do things that a slot receiver, the little guys can do. Route running, blocking. I give him a lot of credit. He's one of the great guys in the NFL. He's been able to play at a high level and maintain just being a great guy, which is sometimes hard to do.
Detail question, when it comes to coaching the defensive backs, covering that entire position, safeties in that position.
That's what I'm most comfortable with. Don't get me wrong, he was a good coach. We hired David Johnson. He's going to help them with the secondary. There might be periods in practice where you'll see where we split them up.
John, the instant replay, you got nailed it. So when people want instant replay to change calls, and you go in there and give your opinion, do you really want that?
What's your name, son?
Let me check. Howard asking.
I think replay is a sensitive matter, really. I don't think it's possible to get them all right. I really don't want a guy challenge. I don't want to challenge plays and have some guy decide the outcome of all these games. It's not even in the stadium. I think it's a concern, but it's hard to get everybody to agree on this. No question.
So
Get that ring in, Howard.
Yeah. Somebody won a Super Bowl, and it was the Eagles. And you'll find you got one of those.
These cufflinks, man.
I got the cufflinks too.
Hey, Coach, thanks a lot. Appreciate it, man. actually. Yeah, I got a playbook. I'm sending it to the mail. It's actually bigger than what I made last time. So yeah.